Welcome to the Costa Mesa Pettis Perspective. This is Jeff Pettis back from a break. A few weeks now. There was some Labor Day in there. There was the Iron Maiden concert last night, which was awesome for all you hard rock, heavy metal fans. It was a great show. But I tell you what, turning 50 and over, attending concerts isn't quite like it used to be, but it was a good time. Also, I've been busy with the VA. I was, most of you know, I work at the VA. I manage all about patient psychiatry there, and now they've actually had me move over to the inpatient side, so kind of doing both. So extremely busy at work, but I am grateful to be there. The veterans we serve, those who bore in the battle, and no complaints on that end. So anyway, today is not going to be about city council proceedings per se. We have an election coming up mid-years, and most of you know that. And so this is going to go a little bit long, but I want to make sure and cover who I want to cover. And we have 2 council seats up for re-election. We also have mayor and some school board and some sanitary. But first, I want to talk about why I'm not endorsing or putting forward my opinion on these candidates, because most people will think it's partisan. Of course, it's partisan. Not in this case. Let me tell you something. When I've been watching this city council for the last 2 years or so since I ran in 2020, and I've gotten a good feel for how things work, how deliberations go, why they vote, when they vote, how they vote. And one thing that I've noticed, it's clear that this council is 6-1 on almost everything. Okay, Don Harper is the lone voice, and so what I see is, if you look at the voting patterns, there's some big things that in the last couple of years that have been on the table. I don't know, One Metro West, even the signage at Triangle Square, the Motel 6 converting into low-income government housing. On and on, redistricting, just many other. I'm leaving a bunch out, but what I can tell you is, if you look at how the votes fell out, I mean, you always hear, let's get money out of politics at the national level, and that's certainly true at the local level too. I've done a lot of research. My wife actually did the putting the data together, but I wanted to see where all the money donations, pulling all the forms for the past elections and whatnot, where they've gone and why. So hundreds of thousands, in the mid 125 to 150, something like that, $1,000 across the campaign since 2018 actually, have almost every dollar of it has gone to 6 of the 7 people up on the dais currently. And the large majority of that money has been from unions, it's been from builders, it's been from large business owners that have interests in the city, of course. So what I want to, so if you look at the dollars that have been donated to these campaigns, you can pretty much track every single vote, and the big donors get the votes. Now, is that, I'm not naive, and I know that that's how the world works to a degree, but from what I can tell, special interests pretty much run the city, and that's because the special interests govern the votes, and the votes are what make things happen in the city. And the only way I can think of that's not going to stop, because it's not illegal. It's gross in my opinion, but it's not like when I ran. I think I pulled in $8,000 or $9,000. I might be a little off on that. But almost none of that, if not all of it, was from $20, $50, $100 donations from individual people, family, friends, people out in the community walking, knocking on doors. None of that was from any special interest. In fact, I think one of the weed guys I'm going to give you a check, and he never did. Not like that mattered to me, but that was, I kind of knew right then that's how things go. So the only way I see to remedy that is balance. Now, there needs to be balance on this council. Right now, it's always 6-1 on everything. So balance means good governance. Balance means debate. Balance means compromise. Balance means a lot of things. And really, since we've gone to districts, what the district council people are supposed to be doing is voting and listening to their individual constituents and governing on behalf of them. Now, I know there are hard decisions need to be made. But I don't see any of that from any of the councils. I see all their voting is being done to please those that donated to their campaigns. And the only way I can see to really remedy that, and which will be a benefit to this city, is to have balance. We need to have 2 or 3 people elected to this council. And I'm not saying it'd be great the other way too. We don't want it lopsided either way, as best we can do it, but we definitely want to have balance. So the only way I know to have balance would be to get some new people in there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about who a lot of people already know who these people are. A lot of people don't know. And one thing I also want to say is it's been kind of disconcerting that when I ran, it was crazy how much debate was going on online, in person, at the different. I went to the park and had events. We would some of the online debates. I think CMRA had 2, and candidate forums, and the candidates were all slugging it out on online and in person. And I am not seeing any of that right now. That's not a judgment for any individual one, but I'm not even seeing any. I mean, there is very little talk about the issues, very little talk about the candidates. So I'd like to see more of that going forward. What I'm going to do is try to get it going here. So we have mayor up for re-election. Mayor Stevens currently in there. He was not elected to that seat, as a lot of people know. He had lost his council seat to Don Harper, and was appointed by Katrina Foley when she came back to mayor. And what we're going to have in this coming election in November is John Moorlach against John Stevens. I think there's one other guy in there. I haven't heard much from him, but John Moorlach is an excellent candidate. I know there was some controversy with the Muldoon thing in the supervisor race last time, but he was the county treasurer in 1996. Forgive me, I have a few notes. I don't want to get it wrong. 98 and 22 and 2002. And in 2006, beginning 2006, he had his first 2 terms as Orange County supervisor. And in 2015, he was elected to a state Senate seat in 37th District for California. So state legislature on the Senate side too. So very qualified, very turnkey ready to be a legislator at the local level. I think he'd be an excellent mayor. One of the things I like is when they're talking, they haven't talked about the budget in a couple of years, but when they talk about, they meaning Stevens and the council, lay out how we're doing financially for Costa Mesa, I was always perplexed because they talk about the budget, but they would never, this pension liability was never factored into that equation. I've even talked to John about that and why that is. And the reason I asked John about it is because he had come up with this, he calls it the unrestricted net deficit. I'm not going to get in the weeds on what that means, but we are ranked 35 out of 35 in cities, 35th out of 35 cities in Orange County when it comes to the unrestricted net deficit. And what that's doing is taking everything, including the unfunded, I think it's $250 million. We are upside down to the pensions, firefighters, police unions, and some others. And that is not mentioned. And John, you can go online and look that up. He's written papers on it, and he's got a really strong understanding of economics. He was accounting, and that's really something we need right now, is to really nickel and dime this whole thing. There's no more. We've been living off the COVID tit for what's going on 3 years now, and it's going to be coming to an end if it hasn't already. Just using COVID money and calling it a balanced budget, to me, is a fake balanced budget. So we're going to be in trouble going forward. Anybody that's been going to the grocery store, a gas station, or seen their 401k lately knows that we're going to be tight. So we need somebody in there that can nickel and dime and be ready to govern. And I think John Moorlach for mayor would be the natural choice for that. So please vote for John Moorlach this November to unseat Mayor Stevens. Now, we have District 5 City Council seat up, and that's Arliss Reynolds District. Please look at the map and understand if you don't know what district you're in and who your council person is. Rob Dickson is somebody I've known most of my life. I knew him when I was a youngster. I went to high school with his brother, George. Reconnected with him when I started running in 2020. He's a family man. He's a great person, and he's the senior paralegal for Environment, Land, and Resources Practice at Latham and Watkins. Also near and dear to my heart, because my dad for many years was a managing partner at Latham. He was the planning. He was a vice chair for the plan. It was a commissioner, vice chair, and chair in 2015 on the planning commission. So he has a very detailed and wide-ranging understanding of how city planning goes. Mayor Foley, actually, when she came into into power had actually fired all the planning commissioners with the exception of one or two at the time. Like I said, he's a very smart guy, very qualified, very ready to govern, just like John. And his character is, I've seen him at these events, and he's always he's either coming from work or he's got to dip out to go play with the kids and the dogs. So I highly recommend him. Please vote for Rob District 5, Rob Dickson, for City Council. And we also have District 3. Andrea Marr is up for re-election in November. And another person that I've known since high school, John Thomas Patton, is running against Andrea Marr in District 3. And he's another solid individual. Like I said, I've known him for a long time. I know his character. I know his values. I know his morals. He's a financial advisor by profession. He's also an Army vet. And like I said, family man. He's very, very strong in his faith and convictions and leads life through example. And so the faith and his just kind of dedication to what's right is a driving factor for him. He's very well versed on city issues. I've had a chance to see him talk in public. And that goes for John, Rob, and John Thomas. John Moorlach, Rob Dickson, John Thomas. John Thomas, very good speaker, which is important because if you're not able to articulate the issues to the people, let them know what you're going to be voting on or why you're voting or what your plans are, that's a hindrance. And he's definitely got that down, and he means what he says. So I would love a vote for John Thomas Patton in District 3. Moving on, the last person who I do know personally is up for Mesa Unified School District School Board Trustee Area 2. Her name's Danielle Mills. And I've had a chance to get to know her since I was on the board at CMRA. She was on the board with me for a short period of time. She is a mother dedicated to her two sons who are both in the Newport Unified School District. Very smart girl. Very in this game because she cares. She's very much into medical freedom. She's very much into education over indoctrination, in the fight, going to the board meetings, and she has no allegiance to any of the unions at the school board level, any of the teachers' unions. She is a 100% solid mother that is in this thing to preserve our kids' education. Strong on Second Amendment, and just a really her and Steve Mills also, who sits on the Orange County Gun Board with me, the Orange County Gun Owners PAC. Sorry, both Steve and I, her husband, sit on that board currently. She is not on that board because she's busy running for a school board. They're a great family, and I've had a chance to spend a lot of time with them. So please vote for Danielle Mills, Newport Mesa Unified School District Trustee for Area 2, Danielle Mills. Now, there's also, I don't know her as well, but I would also like to mention Kristen Seaburn. She is also running for school board, Newport Mesa Unified School District Trustee Area 7. She's on the west side, 2 kids, 2 children, not union-backed either. I had a chance to spend some time with her, listen to her talk at several meets we've had in the city, and I believe 100% in her conviction and her being in it for the right reason. Again, that's my criteria for not just school board, for everybody. Why are you running? And I think that she is a person similar to Danielle that would represent the West Side well for school board, and I wholeheartedly endorse Kristen Seaburn for Area 7 Trustee School Board. Now, by the way, all the links to their various campaign sites will be in the description below. I would like to finish off with, I know these gentlemen less, but I've had a chance to see them speak, look in their eyes, shake their hand, and I believe that what they are doing is the very similar pattern to all these people that I'm endorsing here. For Sanitary District, Michael Seiden is Costa Mesa Sanitary District 1. All 3 of these gentlemen I've met on 2 occasions, listened to their ideas, and I believe in their convictions, and I think they're sincere, not backed by anything other than wanting, or not motivated by anything other than wanting to see good things for the city. And so Michael Seiden, Costa Mesa Sanitary District 1. And then there's John Mourani. He's for Costa Mesa Sanitary District as well. And Dean Howard. Unfortunately, I don't have the district numbers written down here, but those 3 gentlemen, Michael Seiden, John Mourani, and Dean Howard, have my nod for Sanitary District. And that's going to be it for tonight. Sorry, I went a little bit long. I will be back updating regular council meetings, the next council meeting. I have been watching the council meetings, been in person and online. And really, if anything else, be kind to yourself, be good to each other. Together we can get it done. Bye for now.